living here, it's so much about the view and your connection to the ocean and landscape. And just sitting out on the porch is one of my favorite places to be. And the birds that you can hear, they're amazing. My name is Paul Masi from Bates Masi Architects. We're located in East Hampton, New York, and Manhattan. And welcome to my holiday home, Mohegan Trail. The house is located on Block Island in Rhode Island, about 14 miles from the coast. So Block Island is 10 square miles. 50% of that is preserve, and the rest is privately held. Block Island today is primarily a tourist destination. A lot of holiday homes, great restaurants, but a very casual atmosphere. On this particular property, what appealed to me mostly was its proximity to the surfing beaches. And it did have a home on it, which is barely holding on. And we knew we could get a couple summers out of it to really understand the landscape. So it gave us an education of how the sort of microclimate works on this piece of property. The brief for the home was to keep it simple. And there's no master or primary bedroom. There's just a variation of rooms. And it's really about coming with family and friends and not necessarily spending an extended amount of time here. It's a long, narrow property, about 2 acres, and it stretches from the road down to the ocean. And the way that the program is laid out is from the street, we have a garage that gives a little bit of a buffer for the home, and then the home sits at the highest point of the property to capitalize on the view. As you come in the front door, it's framing the view out towards the ocean. Upon entering, you have an open kitchen, living, dining space. And then beyond that, there's a covered deck, which is an extension of all of those rooms, which then goes into this bleacher seating down to the landscape. In terms of the bedrooms, it's broken up over 3 different levels. There's one on the first floor, there's 3 on the second floor, 2 facing the ocean and 1 facing towards the landscape, garage side. And on the lower level, we have a recreation room and a bunk bedroom for the kids to hang with their friends. So, starting the project, for us, it's always important to find the essence of the place and what makes it so special. We found out that there is actually no freight barge to the island and that everything came through a passenger ferry. So we decided to look at materials and building methods that are proven, and one is the traditional framing. This house is framed out of Doug fir, which is the envelope of the interior of the home, but we also use that for the cabinetry. In addition to that, because of the exposure of the framing of the home, we did not use a plywood to sheathe the house, and we used a tongue and groove board. And in wrapping the house, we have a cedar shake, which is a thicker shingle. And because of the oils, it can withstand the weather. Designing a home for yourself as an architect is almost like a lab experience. I think there's a lot of education because you're living there and seeing what makes sense, what you thought about in the beginning, but how it really transpired on a day-to-day basis. It's also an opportunity for you to do something unique and to go in a new direction for yourself. I think my favorite part is really that the house captures the spirit of the place. And there's a reason for why it looks the way it does. There's a reason for why it feels the way it does and how you live in it. And to me, that's really important because then it becomes something that's timeless.